Hi everyone, welcome to another maths video by Maths with Sarah. Today we're going to be tackling this percentage question. Again, it's taken from an AQA GCSE Maths paper. It's a paper 2, so you are allowed to use your calculator, and it's question 6, so kind of near the beginning of the paper. As you can see, it's worth 3 marks. It's asking you about the population or the population increase by percentage. So as with all these videos, I would encourage you to pause the video here, have a think about how you would do it. If you can do the whole question, then that's great. If you can't, or if you get stuck, don't worry about it. I'll go through it in a minute. So if we look at this question, if we look at the information that we've been given, obviously there is quite a lot of information. So we've started off, we've been given the population in 2001 as 420,000 and the population in 2011 of 480,000. And it says that from 2011 to 2021, the population of the city will increase by the same percentage as from 2001 to 2011. So then he works out the increase from 2001 to 2011 as 60,000, which he then adds to the population in 2011 to get this value of 540,000 people. And the question is asking you, does the population of 540,000 people match his claim that the population will increase by the same amount, same percentage from 2001 to 2011 as it does from 2011 to 2021. It's telling you that you must show your working. So the best way to tackle this is to just work out the question, work out the answer to the question, and see whether that matches the working out that he's done. So the way to do this is we've got a percentage increase. So we need to start by working out what this. We've been told that the population of the city will increase by the same percentage in 2011 to 21 as to 2001 to 2011. So we need to work out what that percentage increase is. I'm just going to highlight, underline the key words. So we've got increase, it's quite important, and also we need to work out the percentage. So to work out the percentage increase, we need to start by finding the difference in the percentage. So for that, we'll do 480,000 minus the initial percentage, the initial population, that's 420,000. And then to find the percentage increase, we then need to divide that by the original population, which is this 420,000. And then we're going to times all that by 100% to work it out as a percentage. And if you do this calculation on your calculator, which is probably the easiest way of doing it, then you end up with a 14.3% increase. Okay, so now we need to work out what a 14% increase of 480,000 looks like to get the population in 2021. Okay, so I'll just pop a line under that bit. Now there are 3 different methods of doing this bit, and depending what kind of stage you're at, how easy you find percentages, potentially whether you're doing kind of foundation, higher, or how easy you find maths. There are 3 different methods of doing this. I'm going to show you all 3. I'm going to start with the way that I would say is kind of the most complicated one. So that's the one where you can do it in one step. So if you're doing it like that, then that's fine. If you need a little bit more help and need to go through it in a few more steps, then I'll do those afterwards. So if we're going to do this in one step, we know that it's an increase. We know that we're going to increase this population, and therefore we can do this population, the population in 2011, so 480,000, and we can times that by this converted to a decimal. So it'll be 1.143. So this, remember, this is 14.3 as a as a decimal, and then we need to have it as one. We need to have it 1 point something because it's an increase. So we're going to start with 100%, which would be timesing it by 1, and then we're adding on the 14.3%, which is where we've got this 0.143 from. Okay, and if we do that in one step, then we get an answer of 548,640. Now, depending on whether you rounded at this stage, you might get a slightly different answer here. Given that all of the values in the question have only been given to 2 significant figures, I think it really doesn't matter. As long as you've got this first part right, then I wouldn't worry too much about it. But yeah, you may get a slightly different answer if you have not rounded this this percentage and done it all in one step. So this is the answer that we've been looking for. Now, for some of you, that might have been too much of a jump to have done all this in one step. So I'm just going to clear what we've done so far, and then I've got a bit more space to work it out using some other slightly more easier methods. So I'm just going to keep at the top that we've got 14.3% increase, which is what we've done, what we need to do. Okay, so for some of you, the easiest way for you to do this, so we need to do a 14.3% increase of 480,000. So that means we're going to do 480,000 times by, and we need to convert this to a decimal. So remember, if we're converting this to a decimal, we need to divide it by 100. So we're moving this 2 places to here. So for that, we're going to do 0.143. And that will give us an answer of 68,640. And then because it's a percentage increase, we need to add this to the current population in 2011. So if we do that, then we're going to add 480,000 to this number that we've got here, 68,640. And if we do that, we're going to get 548,640. So hopefully you realise this is exactly the same answer that we got for the previous part. We've just done it in 2 steps rather than 1, so just added this at the end, but it will give you exactly the same answer. Again, if you've not rounded this to 1 decimal place, maybe you've taken it to 2, 3, or just left it as it is on the calculator screen, you will get a slightly different answer, but that's really not a problem. So finally, I'm just going to do a third method, which is a method that some of you might find easiest, is to work out a slightly different way. So, and I know that some people find percentages quite challenging, quite difficult to get your head around. So don't worry if this is the easiest way for you, that it will give you exactly the same answer, and that's the most important thing. So we need to find 14.3% of 480. So to do that, we can start by finding 10% of 480,000. And if you hopefully remember, if we're finding 10% of something, that's the same as dividing it by 10. So to find 10%, we're going to do, that's going to give us, to divide this by 10, remove the last 0. So that's going to give us 48,000. Okay. So that will give us the 10%, but we also need to work out the remaining 4.3%. So next we'll find 1%. And hopefully again you remember that finding 1% is again pretty straightforward, very similar to finding 10%, but this time we're going to divide it by 100. So if we divide this by 100, we're going to get 4,800. But rather than needing 1%, we actually need 4%. So the best way of finding 4% is to do the 1% times by 4 to work out 4%. And if you do that, then you get an answer of 19,200. So if we added these two together, we've got the 10%, we've got the 4%. If we add those two together, then we'll end up with 14%. We also need the 0.3. So if we think about the pattern that we've used to work out 10% and 1%, so to work out 10%, we've divided by 10. To work out 1%, we've divided by 100. So to work out 0.1%, we're going to be dividing it by 1,000. And if we do that, then we get the answer of 480. But again, we don't need 0.1%, we actually need 0.3%. So you probably guess what we're going to do here. We're going to times the 0.1% by 3 to give 0.3%. And if we do that, then we get an answer of 1,440. So we've used that to work it out. We don't need that anymore. And we also don't need this one. We've just used it to help with the working out. And now if we add 10%, 4% and 0.3%, if we add these values, we're going to get the 14.3%. And so if we add those three values up, we're going to get a number of 68,640. And again, perfectly reasonable to do this on a calculator. It is a calculator paper, so that's fine. So if we add all of those up, this is the number that we get. And then we notice that it's an increase. So we've got a percentage increase. And that means that we need to add this percentage increase, so the 14.3% value that we've worked out, to 480,000. And if we do that, then we get a final answer of, I'm running out of space here, 548,640. And hopefully you'll notice that this is exactly the same answer as you've got using the other previous two methods. This is just a slightly more straightforward way of working it out, by working out each step separately. But you will get exactly the same answer. Again, you might have to go to smaller decimal places, but I would encourage you to round it here, or even just to 14%. And the important thing is that you notice that you've got 548,640, and it's asking you, does this match does the population using this percentage method match his claim that it's going to be 540,000? Well, the answer is no, because although it is pretty close, he's actually forgotten to kind of add the percentage increase by just adding 60,000. You're not continuing to increase by the percentage, so he's worked out a much lower value than if he worked it out by percentage. So hopefully that's given you a few different methods of working this out using different methods. Percentage, you've all got the same answer, so that's the main thing. Please subscribe to my channel so that you can get the first information when a video does come out. And if you have any particular topics that you want me to do videos on, then please just drop me a message. So thanks for watching.